The deep state. It's a term you seem to hear everywhere these days, from the conspiratorial corners of the internet to the incoherent ramblings of Donald Trump. Disturbing factions of the left have even begun to use this vague and misleading term about unelected bureaucrats with some dark agenda to lead the world into servitude and misery. But what is the deep state, really? Our editorial team decided to take a journey deep into the furthest echelons of America's government apparatus to uncover who these supposedly nefarious individuals are and what they actually do. These are far from the bogeymen or bogeywoman of Trump's nightmares. In fact, the first thing our team did upon arrival to meet with Special Defense Projects Peace and Global Stability Coordinator Jenkins Griffin was to grab a beer together at the local watering hole. Over suds, Griffin opened up about his love of collecting and painting Warhammer figurines and his lifelong passion for Sudoku puzzles. He talked about his dismay at the hurtful language being used against people like him and how it makes him feel misunderstood and underappreciated. Griffin also opened up about the non-classified aspects of his work to improve the world using weaponized AI drones known as replicators to spread peace and stability worldwide and prepare for a coming global war with China. When not being used for overseas missions, AI drones could also be repurposed to drop crack into poor urban neighborhoods to help fund pro-freedom forces in South America. Does this sound like a bad guy to you? Our team could only marvel at Griffin's camaraderie and the way he brought us civilians in on his big picture vision for a future without instability. Then we headed to Northern Virginia, where we got in touch with Education Policy Assistant Consultant Advisor Attaché Amanda Higginloop. In her capacity as EPA CAA, Higginloop ensures that every classroom has enough diversity materials and that foreign interventions into nations like Afghanistan are gender balanced. She handles advancing legislation for studying world history through the lens of intersectionality, as well as collaborating with the U.S. Army recruiting branch to ensure that the Army is a new rainbow reflection of modern America. In her spare time, Higginloop enjoys time working at a local shelter for abused kittens and donates time to the sterilization project at her local soup kitchen to ensure unwanted breeding doesn't occur among the more disadvantaged urban population. We were astounded listening to Higginloop. This is supposed to be a woman to fear? She left us itching for more and passionate in our journalistic mission to speak truth to power. Lastly, we touched base with Agricultural Projects Development Agency Assistant Advisor Killian Wendell Schenkerschmidt. After sharing some warm-hearted laughs over his difficult-to-pronounce surname and Killian's assurance that my grandparents weren't Nazis, don't worry, we dug deeper into the fertile soil of his work. This man's mind was extraordinary, and our team felt privileged to even be in his presence. He talked about his work to genetically modify all seeds and how glyphosates and pesticides were actually good for the human body. After digging deeper into the war against family farms across America and how to get rid of these no-good hick-town hillbillies who run them, Killian explained that his division is all about providing processed food at higher costs. If it costs more, people will eat less and obesity will go down. Simple. We couldn't help but see his logic and be duly impressed. We shook hands after enjoying a delicious round of Beyond Meat burgers. The deep state? It turns out these people aren't just nothing to fear, they are visionaries. As they transform our nation and the world into a better place, dark figures on the left and right who cast aspersions on them need to be roundly called out. These people aren't villains, they are heroes. All rise for the deep state.